I'm Josh.
Griff dwi.
Marif.
Chloe.
Gwynfor.
Sianna.
Zach ydw i.
Cian.
Jack.
Morgan. Olivia. Cameron.
Bydd ydw i.
We're here at the Senedd for Local Democracy Week 2012.
Yn dysgu am ddemocratiaeth yng Nghymru a gwneud gwahaniaeth.
And how we and you can be inspired to play our part. What is the Assembly trying to achieve, and what exactly is the First Minister's job?
What we're trying to do is to improve people's lives in Wales, and I suppose the job of the First Minister is to lead that process.
Dwi wedi cael sioc o beth sydd wedi digwydd. Heriwyd a ddim credu mod i'n eistedd mewn adeilad sydd yn cael ei alw'n Senedd Cymru. Mae'r cyfan sydd wedi digwydd, mae fel breuddwyd wedi dod yn wir.
How does what you do have an impact on what I can do?
I like to think that what I do has a major impact on what you can do. Certainly education, health, economy, the environment, they're all policy areas which how we perform here will ultimately impact on what you can do.
How do you consider the Senedd helps the people of Wales, and why should it be such importance to us?
The Assembly is about you. It's your assembly. It's where decisions are taken that impact on your lives and lives of people in your family.
The decent, ordinary citizens know that I'll do everything in my power to protect the underprivileged, the underpaid, and the underfed.
Why do you believe in democracy?
If you look around the world, there are basically two types of country. There are countries where people fight for what they want, and there are countries that are democracies, where people talk about what they ought to do and then reach some kind of conclusion. So democracy, I think, is one of the most valuable things in the world.
I went to see the new, I think it's the Avengers film, is it?
Yeah.
With my youngest son's 15th birthday. But even there, although it's great fun, excitement all the way through, adrenaline rush, aliens invading and superheroes on Earth saving the planet, but the underlying problems about you've got good versus evil. Those are broader issues which are all about what democracy is.
People should have a say in how they are governed. They should be able to decide who makes decisions on their behalf, and I think that just makes for a better and fairer society.
Do you know, sometimes even politicians aren't always right. Other people might be able to think about things in a different way to you and give you a new way of looking at things. So it's always worth listening to other people.
I recently watched this film called African United in Film Club, and it really inspired me. What film has had that impact on you?
I think the one that really inspired me to get involved in politics is a very old film. It starred Henry Fonda and it was called 12 Angry Men, and it was about a court case and about a jury, and he was the only man in the jury that thought that the person was innocent, and the whole film is about how he challenges all the other people on the jury to find the person innocent. It's a great film. Get it in your film club because I'm sure you'll be equally inspired. Top film.
And I'll make sure that I do.
Dwi'n meddwl bod hi'n bwysig I weld straeon o bob math, yn enwedig straeon pobl falle arwyr unigol, ond hefyd pobl sydd yn ymddangos I fod ar yr ymylon. Dwi'n meddwl bod ffilm yn gyfrwng ardderchog I ddweud straeon mewn ffordd sydd yn dod â chwestiynau anodd yn ddealladwy bobl.
Have you seen the film Tare Zameen Par?
No, I haven't.
You better watch it. A disabled child whose parents do not know the child is disabled. And the one teacher found out in the end that his child have a problem. And in the end, that child become the iconic figure in the school because he had a different talent of artistic ideas.
Oes gennych chi hoff ffilm ysbrydoledig? Falle bod chi'n rhoi roci ymlaen cyn gwaith yn y bore?
Dim cweit, amser da fi I weld ffilm, falle byddwn ni'n neud hynny. Mae yna sawl ffilm wedi gweld dros y blynydde. Mae yna un ffilm o'r enw Enemy at the Gate sydd amdano brwydr Stalingrad. Mae'n dangos faint mor wael oedd pethau pryd hynny, ond mae'n dangos hefyd bod bobl yn gallu dod trwyddo bron rhywbeth. A beth yw cryfder ysbryd bobl pan maen nhw o dan lot fawr o bwysau.
I was a lawyer before I became a politician, and I have to tell you that I was a lawyer because I saw the film A Tale of Two Cities, which is nothing like being a lawyer, but that's what set me off down that road, so it can have quite a big influence, actually.
Dwi wedi weld y ffilm gyda'r enw Missing, sy'n esbonio beth oedd yn digwydd yn Chile, yn De America, pan mae'r fascists yn redeg y gwlad. Dyma stori bwysig iawn.
Who has or still inspires you?
There was a politician in the Labour Party that I belonged to, a woman called Barbara Castle, and she was one of the very first women politicians to hold the most important jobs that there are in government. So she was a real trailblazer.
I'd probably say Lyndon Johnson. He managed to find common ground between all these different people to take forward the Voting Rights Act, which gave the right to vote to people who'd never had it before.
I'm inspired by Nelson Mandela, who again stood up for what he believed in, even though it cost him hugely on a personal basis.
We need inspiration, Francois. Because in order to build our nation, we must all exceed our own expectations.
Oes ffilm sydd wedi creu argraff mawr arnoch chi eriod?
Y ffilm sydd wedi creu argraff fwy arna i fi'n credu yw Hedd Wyn, ffilm Cymraeg wrth gwrs, a'r ffilm Gymraeg gafodd ei enwebu ar gyfer Oscar. Fi'n credu bod y ffilm yn bwysig oherwydd mae'n dangos bod ffilmiau Cymraeg yn gallu bod yn rhith y gorau yn y byd i gyd.
Na bo chi'n had. Beidiwch â gweithio rocio yma rhy galad.
Gymarol fel Elis.
Mi eisiau chi boeni amdanau.
We recently watched the film War Horse and we realised that all those horses and men were getting killed during the First World War. That made us think that we should do everything we can to stop war from happening. How much of a role can film play to teach us about past events?
You can read about it and you can know about it, but to see it on screen and to feel the story, if you like, of one person or a group of people going through an experience like that is as close as you can get sometimes, I think. I know my son had a very strong reaction to War Horse, actually, and saw it as something that changed the way he thought about war. And I think that kind of thing really is unique to film.
Wyliais i Schindler's List yn ddiweddar, lle mae un person yn gwneud gwahaniaeth i garfan helaeth y bobl. Ydych chi'n credu bod hi'n bwysig i bobl ifanc fel ni i wybod am bobl fel hyn a'r straeon ysbrydoledig hyn?
Mae hwn yn anhygoel i ddeud y gwir, achos y ffefryn sgynna i ydi Schindler's List, felly mae hynny'n yn anhygoel, ond na, dwi'n meddwl mai dyna beth sy'n creu gobaith, really, hyd yn oed pan mae yna broblemau mawr o fewn gwlad, bod yna un person gallu cyflawni llawer iawn.
I could have got more. Oscar, there are 1,100 people who are alive because of you. Look at them. If I'd made more money. I threw away so much money. You have no idea. If I just... There will be generations because of what you did.
How can young people make a difference?
It's important that younger people's voice is heard, and one of the ways of doing that is to make sure that young people say to politicians, hey, I'm going to use my vote, and if I don't like what you're doing, I'm going to vote you out. But if young people stand back from it all, and politicians in the future may well turn around and say, well, they don't vote, we don't have to bother about them, and that would be really bad news.
That's very good advice. Thank you very much, First Minister.
You're very welcome. Thanks for coming.
It is the choices that we make that will decide the nature of our resistance, the nature of our survival. Our choices will be the mark of who we are.
We've learnt a lot about how the Senedd works and the responsibilities, ambitions and inspirations of the Assembly members we've met.
Maen nhw hefyd wedi rhoi lot o awgrymiadau o ffilmiau i feddwl amdanyn nhw. Yn dilyn heddi, rydyn ni'n barod i wneud gwahaniaeth.
Beth ych chi am wneud? What will you do?